Hi all, welcome to South Metro Fire Rescue's abbreviated version of our RIS class. My name is Miss Kim and I will be your presenter today. I wanted to talk about activities that teens partake in that could have you ending up in the back of the ambulance heading to the emergency room. Let's start off with a question. Here are several items. Which one is the least dangerous? Is it cinnamon, candy, vape pods, laundry pods, or mountain climbing? Which item did you think was the least dangerous? Did you choose cinnamon? Have you heard of some people partaking in a cinnamon challenge? This is where a person puts a spoonful of cinnamon in their mouth and tries to swallow. Most of the time they end up spitting it out. However, this activity can end up with various health issues, including pneumonia or even a collapsed lungs. So why do teens do it? Did you choose the candy? Another social media challenge involves snorting or smoking candy. This might initially seem innocent, but can end up with some really gross repercussions, including nasal maggots. Yes, that's what I said, nasal maggots. These little larvae can set up in your nose and eat the sugar remnants left behind. Gross. So why do teens do it? On to the detergent pods. The Tide Pod Challenge involves swallowing these packs of very harsh chemicals. They are poisons to your body. But why did teens do it? Vaping isn't just water vapor. Each pod has about the same amount of nicotine as an entire pack of cigarettes. Additionally, these pods contain chemicals that hurt the lungs, mess with the wiring of the brain, or cause cancer later in life. But why do teens do it? First, the answer. In the eyes of your fire department, we see mountain climbing as the safest choice. It's an adventure, but normally there is training, safety equipment, and you work as a team. So why do teens do these social media challenges? It comes down to puberty. No worries, I won't be talking about any of that awkward under stuff. I'm only going to talk about puberty as it relates from your eyebrows up, meaning your brain. The same effects that puberty has on your decision-making skills and why you do these social media challenges has you saying other things like, I don't know why I did that. Or maybe you have forgotten your homework or forgotten to clean your room. Maybe you've gotten so angry where you didn't even recognize yourself. What if I told you nothing is wrong with you? You are not a bad person. You are an amazing teenager and your brain is getting you ready for independence. So why does puberty affect our decision making and why are you more susceptible to social media challenges? Well, first, we need a quick anatomy review. We will only be talking about two sections of your brain today. First, the prefrontal cortex, your decision-making and consequence thinker. It acts like a braking system. During your teenage years, it is around, but it's kind of like a slow-loading website. The answers, your decisions and ability to think about consequences, will be there, but they will be slow to load. The other system that we will talk about today is the accelerator. It's your limbic system, and it's all about fun, adventure, and friends. It also possesses some of the basic animalistic emotions like anger or fear. It is going to be like Instagram. Super quick, not much in depth, just pictures in the moment. I like to think about the limbic system as the partier who just wants gifts. So why would your prefrontal cortex be so slow to load during puberty? It's getting you ready to become the amazing adult that you are meant to be. However, it has to make your brain more efficient first. You have been creating links and connections in your brain your whole life. If you kept them all, your brain would have to sift through all the junk for every decision. I want you to think about a giant library. Imagine it. Every book is a memory, a thought, and an experience. Your brain is going to sort through every book and find out what's important to you. Maybe it's the arts, sports, science, math. Whatever it is going to make these connections stronger and get rid of all that other stuff you haven't used or needed. It's going to take a while. It's going to take until about your mid-20s to finish this organization. And in the meantime, the partier is in charge. The limbic system is the reward center. When you try something new, hang out with friends, or go on a new adventure, you're going to get rewarded. One of these rewards is through a neurotransmitter known as dopamine. Think of dopamine as the happy juice or the motivator for right now. So that limbic system is all about its happy juice. Now remember that prefrontal cortex? It's doing some reorganization, it's rewiring, it's pruning, and it's that slow loading website. Now that makes your brain's ability to think about consequences also slow. This is why you might act in the moment, do something, and then when your adult asks you why, you might respond, I don't know. And that's the truth. You may have truly not known and just acted. Thanks, limbic system. Whether the choice is good or bad, if it involves friends, adventure, or fun, your brain, your limbic system, is going to reward you exactly the same. But bad choices involve bad consequences, and your slow-loading prefrontal cortex might not get there in time to help you decide. This rewiring and the limbic system being in charge is why teenagers participate in social media challenges and give into peer pressure. So, if the teenage brain has difficulties thinking about consequences in the moment, what can you do? Let's break it down with an infamous YouTube story. There's two girls, friends forever, and they were hanging out and they decided that they were going on a hike. Is that a new adventure? Awesome. Dopamine is up. They're getting rewarded. They're going and they see this beautiful bridge. It's about 60 feet from this river above it, and there's these beautiful rocks. And one of the girls turns to her friend and goes, I'm going to go out on that bridge. So she goes out on the top of the bridge and she's like, oh, look at this. And she looks at the beautiful view. She's feeling great. She's on an adventure. Is she hanging with her friend? Yes. Bing, her dopamine gets hit. She's with the fun adventure friends. Bing, bing, bing. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. She is feeling fantastic. So her friend looks and she's like, ooh, I want to go where she is. Now her friend is a one-upper. Basically that means whatever you do, I'm going to do one better. So instead of going on the flat part of the bridge, she climbs in front of the railing and stands in front on the edge of this bridge, and on the other side of the railing, goes across and stands there. Her adventure feels awesome. Dopamine hit. She's still hanging with her friend, fun, adventure, bing, 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 dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. She's feeling great. Well, dink, dink, dink. All of a sudden, her friend, who's on the right side, the correct part of the bridge, looks at her friend. Her friend doesn't seem so cool anymore. Boom, dopamine drops. Her adventure doesn't feel great. Boom. Fun adventure friend, it all goes down. Her limbic system is in charge. It gets angry. Remember that angry limbic system, that animalistic feeling? And she pushes her friend right down the 60 feet. Her friend falls onto the rocks, breaks every single bone in her body, and goes to the hospital. Now, she doesn't die. However, some of you are like, oh my gosh, who would do that? That girl is so mean. Well, I want to ask yourself, have you ever done something and you didn't mean to? Did you ever make a split-second decision? What she did was all about her limbic system. So in the moment, how do you slow yourself down and bring up that prefrontal cortex, load up that prefrontal cortex so your partier is not in charge? And it has everything to do with these questions. If at any point you get a yes, you stop. Okay, so these are the 4 questions. Will it hurt me? Will it hurt others? Will I get in trouble? Is it against my moral code? So let's break down the previous story using these 4 questions. The first girl who goes out on the bridge, she's standing in the middle, looking over at the beautiful view. Is it going to hurt her? Nope. Is it going to hurt others? Nope. Is she going to get in trouble? Not unless she's lying about where she is. Is it against her moral code? Not unless she's anti-bridge. All right, the second girl, the friend, who goes in front of the rails and is holding on to the rails. Is it going to hurt her? I don't know about you, but I am a klutz. I fall over my own feet in the middle of an open hallway. So yes, I could fall. 1 yes means you stop. But let's continue on. Is it going to hurt others? If I did fall, the emotional and financial issues that would bring to my family would hurt them. I would stop. Am I going to get in trouble? Possibly. This is possibly a trespassing. Is it against my moral code? Once again, bridges. But you hit 1, you should stop. Now go back to the original girl. She's upset. She's angry. She's in the minute. She's about to push her friend off. Is it going to hurt me? Yes. This girl isn't a bad girl. Her limbic system was in charge and she did not think about the consequences. For all of you that have thought, oh, I don't know why I did that, you could be in a very similar position. Yes, it could hurt her. So she's right now, she dealt with jail and bills and she's in trouble, right? So she should have stopped. Did it hurt others? Of course. The other girl broke every single bone in her body. Yes, she survived. But yes, she hurt others. Am I going to get in trouble? Once again, the girl is dealing with the court system and jail. Now, finally, is it against my moral code? I would hope that most of you have the should not hurt other people moral code. So any of these should have stopped her. Now, once you hit a yes, you might have to figure out, how do I get out of this situation? Some of you could use like, hey, I gotta use the restroom real quick, or maybe you have a secret code with a friend or a family member that if you text them this message, they'll call you and say it's time to come home. But have a plan. You can get creative, but you need to get out of that situation. All right, another example, another story to break down. Yes, I was a teenager once, and I was not immune to the teenage brain rewiring and its delayed thinking of consequences. I had a friend, and he had a car, and we were in the parking lot, and he was moving kind of slow, and I had left his car, and my backpack was in the front passenger seat of his car. And he kept, as I was like, hey, I forgot my bag. As I would walk towards him, he'd slowly scoot his car up. And I walk forward, he'd scoot his car up. And after a couple times of this moving up and him continuing to move up as well, I started to get mad. My limbic system was Hulk smash mad. So I run up and I am hanging, and I kind of jump into his car, and I'm hanging where I'm half in and half out of the car, and my feet are dangling out of the passenger window. Now, could this hurt me? Yes. Now I should have stopped there. Could it hurt another person? Yes, maybe his insurance and his guilt. Could I get in trouble? Yes, absolutely. Now, the story, if I just would have stopped there, I ended up hanging in half in and out of that window. And my friend, because he was also a teenager, decides to drive faster. Now, him driving faster, could that hurt him? Not necessarily, but maybe. Could it hurt others? Yes, it could have hurt me. He should have stopped. Could he get in trouble? Well, he did, because there happened to be a cop right behind the school cop who was watching the whole thing. And is it against his moral code? That's for him to decide. Now, once again, me not being a very wise teenager at that time, couldn't think of consequences, I was mad. So I decided that I was going to grab my bag and jump out of the window because I did not know he was speeding. Not speeding, but going faster. So I fall out of the window, tunk, 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 and I scrape up my whole body and everything else, and the cop has a nice discussion with me, to us, my friend and myself, and of course our parents. Now, could it hurt me falling out of that window? Yes, it did hurt physically, emotionally. Could it hurt others? Yes, my friend got a ticket. Is it against my moral code? That one's to each his own. Did I get in trouble? Yes, my parents were not very happy. These 4 questions help you bring back or to load that prefrontal cortex. It allows you to think of perception versus reality. Have you ever seen those juicy hamburger commercials? The ones with the melting cheese, looking absolutely delicious. But when you go and order one, it's like a hockey puck with a single pickle. I am sure you have seen the meme of perception versus reality. Many times this is similar to teenage situations and these challenges. You may think that everyone else thinks it's safe, so it must be safe. Or everyone else is doing it, so I should do it to be cool or to be accepted. But many times the others aren't doing it. They don't think it's safe, or they might have not even thought about the consequences at all. Before I go, I want to take a minute and talk about the big stuff. I know there are challenges at home right now. Adults may have lost their jobs. You may be fighting with your friends. You may feel lost, sad, depressed, overwhelmed. You are not alone. I remember being a teenager and completely crying in my bedroom, feeling so alone and depressed. If I had made the decisions that I had wanted back in the day, well, it wasn't even a decision, but that limbic system, angry, sad, scared, and acted on those fears, I would have not gotten to live the amazing life that I have lived. So, especially right now, you might not be able to see your friends, and you really have to get creative for new adventures. Your limbic system needs you to do these. And your dopamine levels without these new adventures and your friends might be super low. During these times of feeling lost, the 4 questions may seem really trivial. So what do? You need to find your trusted friends, your family, your teachers, your counselors. It's someone you can talk to openly. They're known as your constellation of support because during this dark time, you need to talk to people to give you good advice, and that will be the light in the dark. It's okay to reach out. There is nothing broken with you. You're just needing a little help. Your brain is helping you to become the amazing adult that you are meant to be. However, during this pruning or reorganization of your brain, you might become more susceptible to bad decision-making and split-second rationale. This can affect the rest of your life. It is important to have some tools like the 4 questions, the constellation of support, the secret "get me out of here" phrases to family or friends, which will allow you to think about the consequences and not end up as a 911 call and in the emergency room. Here are some homework suggestions. Thank you again for your time. I hope to see you all safely soon.